We've been hearing and seeing it all over the news. The unavoidable images in the media, videos, the topic dominating the headlines. Videos being shown of horrific violence. The topic, domestic violence. Because of the controversy surrounding some athletes and the attention of Domestic Violence Awareness Month, people have been crying out and rallying together to bring an end to domestic abuse. It's unfortunate it takes the controversy surrounding athletes to bring attention to this subject, because this is something that's always happening. It's always around us. It's in all of our countries, cities, towns. It's happening to the people around us, our families, our friends. It's happening in our community. And all too often, it's happening to ourselves. I'm Danielle Vans, and right now we're finding out more about this issue and why some people stay and why some people leave their abusive relationship. So first things first, why do people stay? We're going to answer that question in a second, but first I want you to hear this number because it really surprises and frankly wakes a lot of us up as to how big this issue really is. Now, according to the 2010 National Intimate Partner and Sexual Violence Survey, 32% of women are physically assaulted by a partner during their lifetime. Yes, 32%. So about 1 in 3 women are physically assaulted by a partner during their lives. So, just to give you a picture, if you look at 10 women, according to the statistic, you can look at them and on average count say 1, 2, 3, she's assaulted. 4, 5, 6, she's assaulted. 7, 8, 9, she's assaulted. And so on and so forth. And now, think about this. Those are just the numbers that were reported. I want to go back to the quote at the beginning of the video. Suffering is not a virtue. Happiness is not a sin. I repeat this because I want you to understand this and know that you are not alone. One of the biggest demonstrations of this is a worldwide discussion happening on social media. With all the attention on domestic violence, a lot of people were asking, why do some people in abusive relationships stay? And with that question, an insightful conversation was sparked when hundreds of thousands of people around the world responded by sharing their stories of why they stayed or left their abusive relationships. And they used the hashtags WhyIStayed and WhyILeft. It started with one woman sharing her experience using these hashtags, and then the world took them on, using the WhyIStayed WhyILeft hashtags to participate in the global conversation. A lot of it took place on Twitter, so I read through a lot of the tweets that use these hashtags. Here are a few of the more powerful and insightful ones. Rosemary writes, WhyIStayed. He told me no one will ever love you like I did. WhyILeft. I realized that no one should ever love me like he did. Powerful. Luthien writes, I was afraid he would kill me. WhyIStayed. But I don't want my daughter to repeat my mistakes. WhyILeft. That last thought touches on an insight so important when it comes to our children. So many of us believe we're helping them or doing the right thing by staying in an abusive relationship for the children. But we're actually hurting them. Especially if, God forbid, something were to happen to your child at the hands of the abuser. Or something ends up happening to you. But right now, here are a couple of more tweets for you. Christina writes, "Why I stayed was because I thought love would conquer all." And one more person sharing their experience says, "Why I stayed, I thought I could change him. Why I left." These are really eye-opening. But now that's not all, because I discovered some really interesting info was being gathered about this Why I Stayed, Why I Left Twitter conversation. And this info really gives you a glimpse into just how deep this issue really is. So while people were sharing their experiences on Twitter, BBC News Trending decided to see how many tweets used hashtag WhyIStayed versus how many tweets used the hashtag WhyILeft. Here's the stunning result of that count. According to BBC News, the number of tweets with the hashtag WhyIStayed were over 3 times the number of tweets with the hashtag WhyILeft. This says a lot about the possible numbers of people that are staying in abusive relationships versus a small fraction that leaves. Listen, if you are in an abusive relationship and you want to get out, but you feel threatened, alone, afraid, guilty, if you feel trapped with lack of resources, or if you have children and you don't know where or who to go to, you have options. You can call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-SAFE. That's 1-800-799-7233. These calls are confidential. They're available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and they're toll-free. Please reach out and talk to them. They're supportive, compassionate, and they're there to help you. Call them. So now, I'd really like to hear from you. Have you ever been in or witnessed an abusive relationship? If you've been in one, please share your Why I Stayed, Why I Left experience in the comments. If you've witnessed one, what did you learn from it? Tell me about that too. And if you'd like to see more of the Why I Stayed, Why I Left conversation, search the hashtags Why I Stayed and Why I Left on Twitter. Did you like this video or find it useful? If so, subscribe to this channel and share it. If you want even more great resources and exclusive updates to create the life you want to live, go to daniellevans.com and sign up for email updates. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.